Welcome back to the OSM channel. In today's video, I'm going to do a review of this Scott's Landscaper Mix grass seed. So we're going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to show you my technique for sowing in the grass seed, and then we will check back in as this seed germinates, and I'll just share my experience with you. Now, first thing I want to talk about is before you purchase grass seed, take a look at your lawn. Try and determine what type of grass you have in your lawn already. I made a very big mistake last year. Last year, I bought this Pennington K31 grass seed. And the K31, the blades of grass are very thick, and the grass is a light green color. My grass is dark green, and the blades of grass are very thin. So this was a huge mistake, and I'm killing off that patch of grass right now. Here's a great example of how that K31 tall fescue just doesn't match with the rest of the lawn. I mean, look at this. Wrong color, thick blades. Garbage. So I like the Landscaper's mix. Now be careful, because Scott's also makes a commercial mix, and I believe there's more fescue and thicker blade grass in that mix. So first thing I want to talk about is what type of grass seed is in this bag. So in this case we have 13% perennial ryegrass, 12% annual ryegrass, 7% creeping red fescue, 6% silver dollar perennial ryegrass, about 5% chewing fescue, 2% Kentucky bluegrass, and another 2% Kentucky bluegrass. So that's approximately the percentages of what's included in this bag. Now, according to my research and my testing, I have done a test spot in the front lawn with this grass seed. It seems like this grass seed generally is dark green grass, and the blades are generally fairly thin, so that's why I'm deciding to go with it. Now, in my opinion, there's 4 key things that you need to focus on if you want new grass seed to germinate and look really nice. So item number 1 is really good soil. So I've applied at least 2 inches of really nice topsoil behind me in the area that I plan to sow this seed. You know where I got that topsoil? I didn't buy it, didn't go to any landscape supply center. Where I find my topsoil, if you have some garden beds in your property and you've been throwing mulch on those beds every year, rake some of that mulch back and dig down, and chances are you will find some of the best topsoil that you can find. Oftentimes better than the crap you can buy at the landscape supply centers. I oftentimes find that to be like really thick clay soil. So just look around your property, dig down, and chances are you'll find some really good topsoil. So item number 1, really good topsoil. Item number 2 is some type of fertilizer. In my case, I bought this stuff from Walmart. This is a general purpose 5-10-5 fertilizer, and we'll throw this down, rake it in. Item number 3 is you want to cover it to help the soil maintain that moisture content. And what I like to use is compressed straw. I normally buy that stuff from Tractor Supply. It's a little bit expensive, but if you're trying to plant this when it gets a little bit hotter and drier out, that really helps to keep the moisture in the soil and allows those seeds to germinate. And the final thing, item number 4, is just water. You got to make sure the soil's wet, and you got to keep on top of watering. So with that being said, we're going to take the camera over to that bed of topsoil, and we're going to throw in some fertilizer, rake it in, and then we'll start throwing in the grass seed. So first thing we're going to do, again, is spread some fertilizer over the fresh topsoil. And to spread that, I'm going to use this little cheap hand crank spreader. I really want to buy a push spreader, but the quality of the ones that are out right now are just such garbage. I'd love to get a Lesco, but the Lescos, I mean, what do they go for? $300? I'm not spending that. So anyway, we'll throw some of this in the little hand spreader here. I have my spread rate set to 4. And we're just going to crank some of this fertilizer down. Only used about a cup. So I know earlier in the video I said after we throw down the fertilizer we're going to rake it in. Well, change of plans. What we're actually going to do is throw down our first layer of grass seed, and I'm going to sprinkle this in by hand. Reason being, this spreader just doesn't apply it at the rate that I would like to throw this down. I like to throw the grass seed down pretty heavy. So we're going to throw first layer of seed down on top of the fertilizer, rake everything in with the hard rake, and we're going to come back in after that, throw down our second layer of seed, take the backside of a spring rake, gently sow it in, throw some compressed straw down, water it, and then we wait. By the way, I do prefer to wear a mask because there's fertilizers and dust in the seed, and additionally with the straw, so not a bad idea to protect your lungs. first layer of seed and fertilizer down. I like to take a hard rake and gently rake this in. A lot of guys will say, oh, you're crazy for doing that, but I feel that with a hard rake, that helps to allow the seeds to penetrate deeper into the soil. And again, we're gonna apply a second layer of seed, and then we're gonna use that spring rake to do the final top coat. So with this, you just try to not step in it if you can avoid it. So I'm gonna work the edges, and then in the middle, I am gonna have to walk in the middle, and then we'll address that. But you know, just a gentle little rake, back and forth, nothing crazy. Now let's throw down a second and heavy layer of seed. So with that second layer of seed down, now I'm going to take a spring rake and just take the backside and gently sow the second layer of seeds in. A good little tip I have for you though, if you have an old pool pole laying around, insert the handle of your spring rake into the pool pole, out a couple screws, and then you have a nice long handle rake. And this thing is just fantastic for so many applications, including this. Almost finished here. Now we're going to take the compressed straw. Just throw a layer of this straw down over the seed here. You don't want to use hay because hay has a tendency to drop its own seeds into the topsoil. That can happen with straw, but it's less likely to happen with straw. So try and use straw over hay is what I'm trying to say here. So everything's coming out really well so far. What I'm gonna do now is just hose everything down, give it a nice coat of water, and then I'll probably water it every day, every other day, depending on the moisture content of the soil, and then I'll check back in when everything starts to germinate. Alright, it's been exactly 2 weeks since I planted this Scott's Landscaper mixed grass seed, and I gotta tell you, I'm really pleased with how this stuff is coming up so far. I want to say it germinated, meaning just started to pop out of the soil maybe 4 days ago, and the grass blades are already approximately 2 inches high. I've been out here every day ensuring that the soil is well watered, and I think that's really making a difference as well. So check back in maybe another week here, and we will conclude this video. So it's been another week, and I'm just about ready to conclude this video. So with this new patch of grass, came in really nice, but you may notice that the color is slightly off compared to the rest of the lawn. According to my research, this is pretty normal. New grass tends to be a lighter shade of green than a more established lawn. So I will just have to update you in the comments section below as to how well this blends in with the darker shades of green. But something else I'm noticing, some of this grass has popped up pretty quick, but then there's actually some smaller stems that are popping up like this guy right here, and this is a much darker shade of grass. So I'm pretty confident that this is going to blend in just fine over time, but again, I'll have to update you in the comments section down below. But I gotta tell you, I'm really pleased with how well this grass seed popped up, and again, the key really is prep work, good soil, some fertilization, and properly watering this stuff in. So I'm going to conclude this video. Thanks for watching. As always, I will catch you on the next one.